Hi guys. Sorry this is a little bit later than I promised. I know I said I would have this posted yesterday by 6 p.m. But I ran into a few issues that kind of delayed me. So I'm gonna go now. Please forgive me. This is not gonna sound very professional at all. This is my very first time doing this. I'm a little bit nervous to share some of this information with everyone. So if I sound weird and nervous, it's because I am. We're going to talk about my experience with opiates. My very first experience with opiates on this video. And I'm going to try to do about one video a week, just going over my journey with addiction, recovery, everything that comes in between with that. So just stay tuned and learn a little bit more about me. So my very first experience with opiates is probably pretty similar to most people's. I was probably about 16 years old, that I can remember at least. I probably had opiates before and just don't remember, but the first time I can remember, I was 16 and I had to have a surgery to have a tumor removed. It was a benign tumor. And it was a painful recovery just because of where the surgery was. I'm not going to go into too many details about that right now. But it was a painful recovery, so I was given a prescription for Vicodin. And I do remember knowing that it could make me tired. But that's really the only thing I knew about it. So when I got home, I did take one probably. But what I remember from that is it made me very sick, very nauseous. I threw up and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I never thought I would touch them again. That was honestly my opinion. Didn't like them. So that honestly was my very first experience taking them. I should have stopped there, you would think. However, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years later, I was working 80 plus hours a week, managing 2 Dairy Queens, living on my own, paying rent, the whole 9 yards, doing really well in life. But I was burnt out. There was this period of time, there's probably about 55 days, the entire summer it felt like, I did not get a day off. Being a manager, when somebody calls in and you can't find somebody else to do it, you're going to stay and do it. So there was a period of about 55 days working from about 8 o'clock in the morning to sometimes close to midnight, just depending on how long it took to get out of there. And I was burnt out and I was tired. And I remember seeing this prescription for Vicodin at my parents' house. I was there and I remembered it made me so sick the last time I took it. And I got this thought in my mind, well, I'll bring a couple of them with me to work. I'm working with the owner today. She was not the easiest person to, get along with. And I knew she just would not have it if I just called in. So I took a couple of them right before I went to work, thinking by the time I got there, I'd probably get really sick and it'd be really obvious that I wasn't faking and she would have no choice but to send me home and I'd get a day off. That's really all I was wanting. However, this time when I took it, it did make me feel a little bit nauseous, but what it also made me feel that I didn't feel the first time, or at least remember feeling the first time, was the euphoria. It really made me feel good in the moment. I got this warm and cozy feeling that came over me. I got really talkative, wanted to talk to every customer, wanted to tell them about me. I'm not a talkative person, I'm an introvert. So that felt odd to me, but I enjoyed it. So instead of my plan of getting sick and going home, now I'm feeling great and I want to stay. And I did. I stayed all day. And it didn't turn into a habit immediately. It wasn't a daily thing after that. I just knew in my head that I liked them now. They were kind of fun. It definitely wasn't something I ever saw becoming a habit. And that's kind of where I left it for quite a bit of time. There might have been 2 or 3 times between 18 and about 21, 22 that I took opiates just for fun. But that's it. It was nothing big. But then when I was about 21, I was about 22, 23. I was going through a really hard breakup. Me and my fiance, if you want to call it that, at the time where we were not together anymore. And maybe 2 months after that, my cousin, who was 13, who I was very, very close with since he was a baby, was hit by a car and actually passed away. And that was 2 very, very hard emotional things for me to go through at once. And I remembered how good the Vicodin made me feel. And I remember I had a dentist appointment shortly before my cousin's funeral. And they gave me, hang on, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My dog started barking. I don't want you guys to have to hear that in the background. Anyways, so I was going through grief of losing my relationship with my boyfriend, fiance, and the grief of losing my cousin that I was very close to. And I got a prescription from the dentist for Percocet, and they worked like a charm again, just like they did before. And that's when it really started. That's when it really started to become a regular thing for me. The doctor shopping started, the seeking them out started from other people that might have been taking them. Just feeling like I needed them to get through the day, to get through my life, to get through anything. And of course I thought, this is temporary. I'm not going to keep doing this. This is just to help me get through a hard time, and I'll get off of it and move on with my life. No big deal. I knew about addiction, but I never knew anything about dependency. So I had no idea the rabbit hole I was going down. I thought when I was done, I could be done. It doesn't work like that, though. That's something I'm going to get into in later videos, but this was just really the beginning of my experience with opiates. And looking back, I can see that I chose to deal with my emotions in very unhealthy ways, but I didn't know how to do it any better at the time. I do now. I'm much better with coping skills now, but it was a learned skill and something that I definitely had to learn the hard way. And I don't want anyone else to have to go down the same path that I did to learn. That's why I really want to share my experience, share my stories, be honest, be vulnerable. I cannot say that word. And, be here to answer any questions or just tell my story. And hopefully it'll reach one person. And that's all I could ask for. That's really all I could ask for, is one person to hear my story and feel inspired or make some sort of change. Reach out to somebody that they think is struggling. If you see something, say something. And another thing, I don't know if I believe in tough love. I think showing your love and your support is the best thing to do. Everyone's different on that opinion, if tough love works or not. I don't